Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we continue our discussion on the topic, the changing architecture of search marketing. I am Suhen from the Amazon Ads team. And before I start, let me quickly thank the AdTech team for putting this platform together, where we get an opportunity to listen to senior marketing thought leaders as they talk about the past, present, and future of search marketing. Digital advertising has grown at a rapid pace over the last few years. Today, digital advertising has grown to comprise nearly one-third of all marketing spends in the country. Search has always been the flag bearer of digital marketing, providing marketers an unparalleled opportunity to engage consumers based on their stated intent and track the performance of their marketing dollars at a click level. Despite the recent focus on video and programmatic, search remains a core constant of digital marketing and continues to drive the highest return on spends for most marketers. From a consumer perspective, search remains an integral part of the research and purchase journey, playing a significant role across the entire process. In fact, a study done by Amazon Ads showed that an average buyer conducts 10 to 15 searches before making a purchase among mid to high consideration categories such as consumer durables, watches, and smartphones. This reliance on search is equally important for consumers who are shopping offline as well. Over the recent period, consumer behavior around search has evolved, keeping in line with the overall changing consumer preferences, both in terms of how and where the search is done, as well as what is being searched. At the same time, innovations around search marketing has also enabled advertisers to go beyond the conventional search marketing tactics. Today, marketers can engage shoppers during their search journey using various different formats, including video. Today's discussion will focus on the evolution of search and the opportunities it opens for marketers. We will discuss the key trends around search marketing and the role it has played for one of the most iconic brands in the Indian personal care space. To talk about this and a lot more, let me welcome Deepak Gupta. Deepak is the Chief Operating Officer at a high-growth digital-first personal care brand, Bombay Shaving Company, where he has driven growth across domestic and global markets. Under his leadership, Bombay Shaving Company has grown 6x in revenue in the last year alone and has become a well-known brand in the sector. He has successfully transformed the company into a truly omni-channel enterprise with people-centric culture. Prior to his role at Bombay Shaving Company, Deepak has helped one of the marquee FMCG brands, Colgate, in India and global markets. A warm welcome to you, Deepak.
Thank you, Suhen. Thanks a lot. And for EdTech, for inviting me for this discussion.
Great. So, Deepak, let me start with my first question. Bombay Shaving Company is a digital-first brand, as we all know it, with digital marketing at the core of how you communicate with your consumers.
Right.
What role has search marketing played in your overall growth journey?
Yeah, you are right. So I think we are a digital first brand, and search is at the core of it. And I think that's where we started our journey as well. Unlike our competitors who are large legacy brands where they rely still a lot on the traditional media. Like we started with D2C as the core engine, where we used to use Google AdWords, Facebook, and I think over a period of time programmatic and a lot of SEO related search tools, right? I think then, so this is 2016, and 2017 we launched on Amazaon, Flipkart, and other e-commerce platform, where we realize the actually potential of search to give a high ROI returns compared to what you see on the other platform I mentioned. And since then, I think we continue to invest heavily on the search, especially the marketplaces, to grow our business and acquire new consumers. And I think marketplaces and platforms have also evolved a lot during their journey. So I think we really like to experiment a lot on search.
Got it. Deepak, one follow-up question on that. I think you also mentioned some of the competitors being the well-established brands, and you have worked with a large established brand as well. Uh, how does this role of search varies between a large brand like a Colgate versus a growth brand like which is establishing, or not establishing, but at least growing much faster than a brand like Colgate?
Yeah. I think for the established brands, I think they doesn't have to kind of solve for the top of the mind or the top of the funnel awareness for the consumer, right? Where they kind of make, I think most of the time, invest in kind of protecting their branded keyword search at max, right? For us, I think we use search extensively throughout the funnel, right from the consumer searching for the category to kind of consumer searching for specific keywords in the category, which can be generic, and then kind of searching for a particular brand. So we also kind of, for example, acquire, as a challenger brand, look to acquire customers from our competition, right? So for us, it's search also is get used in a full funnel marketing way compared to the large brands. I think that's where the difference is. But over a period of time, as our brand has also gained salience, we kind of use search more on the generic keywords within the category and branded keywords, rather than kind of using it exhaustively on the category keywords.
Got it. It's interesting to note the journey that a brand like Bombay Shaving Company has also gone through. You're probably somewhere in the middle in your journey from being a
Right.
small brand to being an established brand, and the three gradients are very clear, right? Where a large brand, let's say like a Colgate, where you have worked, versus a Bombay Shaving Company, where you were, let's say 3-4 years ago,
Right.
they would have very different perspective towards search marketing in general.
Yeah. And I think, again, for us, like, search is part of our life in terms of the way we do business. I think large brands, primarily it is driven through agencies, which as a part of the overall mandate. Again, so I think the focus and the involvement is very different. We also kind of invest heavily on content creation to optimize search, to establish ourselves as an industry expert, as a challenger brand. While for the large brands, I think they have a different objective. So objective is also very different in both the cases.
Right. Actually, that gives me a good segue into my second question, which is really around innovation in search marketing, right? So you've been one of the first adopters of various search products, be it, let's say, sponsored brands video on Amazon, or sponsored brands, or let's say sponsored display, which is coming up. Could you please talk about your journey with various search products, both from an Amazon lens, but even otherwise, if you want to talk?
Yeah, no, our performance team loves Amazon. I'm not saying it just for the sake of because you are from Amazon, but in general, I think the way platform is self-serve and has evolved over a period of time to kind of give delight to the marketers, to kind of being visible to the consumer and solve their queries in the most gratifying way, right? And I think the latest of that obviously is I think SB video was a game changer in my view, because you can actually serve a full video ad, content ad, where you can talk about the product USP, ingredients being used, we being CPG company, and also bringing some element of brand story to the consumer, rather than kind of just showing the kind of product listing, title, and kind of the price, right? So and after that, I think SD, where you kind of start reaching out to new consumers, target your competition, and kind of also being visible in different other pages other than which are non-category. I think has helped us a lot to reduce our cost of marketing, right? Because I think everybody knows it, there's a lot of intent-based search happen on the marketplaces, right? So and Amazon kind of has a big chunk of that. So I think allowing brands to kind of use the platform in the most optimal way to reach out to consumers has helped us to optimize our spends in a big way. And that's the reason I think over a period of time we have kind of also shifted our lot of other spends to Amazon, because it allows you to kind of play with multiple properties. These.
Got it. And I'm just trying to link the two answers, two questions that we've discussed so far. I think it becomes a lot more important for a challenger brand like you to tell the story among the high intent consumers, given that maybe your awareness or upper funnel awareness among consumers is not that high as compared to, let's say, legacy brands.
Right.
Got it. Let me change the gear a bit. Now, let me move it ask you from a consumer lens. What are some of the recent trends that you have noticed in terms of how consumers search? And correspondingly, what has been your strategy or any changes to your strategy which you have done in response after seeing those trends?
Sure. I think you will have more data points on this. So what I will share is my experience on this, because you deal with multiple categories, multiple brands, and multiple geographies, right? But what we have seen is, and especially I think last 2.5 years with COVID coming in, a lot of new consumers kind of have been coming to the online marketplaces, and most of them, a big chunk has come from the smaller cities, right? So what we are seeing is kind of use of vernacular is picking up. I think voice. I think for shopping the growth is high, but still I think it's very small. But it's picking up in other spheres of life, right? If you want to watch a movie, you want to listen to a song, if you want to use Google Maps. So I think in other spheres of life it's picking up. I believe that it will kind of also pick up for shopping slowly. The ecosystem need to help consumers to adopt it fast, right? I think right now that incentivization and the ease is not there, but I think it will also happen, because if consumers are using voice for different other for personal usage, sudden it will also move into shopping. Vernacular, but I think has been picking up really fast, especially in last 2.5 years, with these consumers coming from smaller cities. For example, we see surge in the long tail keywords where consumer actually is not clear what to buy, but they just type it, and so we have seen good low ACOS and high ROAS on certain keywords. Again, I think a lot of these, I believe, are from the consumers who are first time online and kind of just try to search in a more local way. Second is, like for us, we sell shaving creams, right? So you see the high surge in the word called saving cream, SAVING, right? So how do we make sure that kind of we catch these the trends in terms of how the consumer is searching? The third is, like, I think some of the keywords I have seen is dadi badhane ka tel, right? Like people searching for beard growth oil, right? So or bread, like bread growth oil is a very common word. So I think a lot of these trends have come in, and mostly from consumers coming from the smaller towns. And good for us as a brand to make sure that we are available where consumer is searching in whatever vernacular they are searching for. And India is a very diverse country from that point of view. So we also kind of try to understand consumer preferences and make sure that the content kind of help to solve their problems in the best possible way. So we are also creating a lot of video content. We do run certain specific communication on Amazon, outside Amazon, to serve different consumer needs, and a lot of that I'm seeing in last 1.5 2 years is on vernacular languages as well, right? Because the platform allow you to serve ads to the consumers in a targeted manner. So I think that's catching up. Voice, I think it will need an inflection point to kind of become big. It's small right now for shopping, but definitely I think vernacular and content-based shopping is catching up a lot.
Right. And Deepak, I think I will sort of resonate to all the points that you mentioned here, right? We did publish a study very recently around the search trends, and one of the highest growth areas we found was voice and vernacular. voice on Amazon has been really nascent. I think it got launched in 2020. Vernacular has been there for a longer time in terms of availability to consumers. So voice in its second year saw a growth of about 250%. So year on year growth is stupendous. Obviously, it's on a very small base. So that's a reflection of what you exactly are talking
I agree.
about.
I think it will expand with the new consumers coming online. And I think this has happened in other categories and other spheres of life also. I don't see a reason why it will not catch into shopping. And I think it allows consumer to kind of discover better and brands to also connect in the right way. So we should talk consumer language anyways.
No, absolutely. And the other factor we observed when we dig deeper was, interestingly, the propensity to use voice was much higher among new to Amazon consumers as compared to existing Amazon consumers. Largely, as new to Amazon consumers are mostly coming from smaller cities and towns. As
I think that's where a lot of use cases will come. Otherwise, I think platform also now have got a lot of artificial intelligence to suggest basis few initial letters, etc. So I think that also helps. But a lot of consumers who have been exposed to watching video content on YouTube or the other platform where they use voice, I think that behavior should carry forward to shopping. I completely agree with you.
Awesome. Let me come to my last question to you, Deepak. Now, how can marketeers best utilize search in your opinion? Any tips, recommendations you want to share to, especially to the smaller brands who are looking to become the next Bombay Shaving Company?
So I think that's what I tell our team also is you have to live, breathe and eat data all the time that's coming from all the panel reports, etc. all the time to be on top of your game, right? Because it's not only you are bidding on those keyword searches, their competition is also, right? This is one. Secondly, I think create content or SEO pages which are well optimized for what consumer need. That helps you kind of again solve the consumer query at much lower cost than your competition can be. And this I think comes over a period of time, deeper understanding of the category, deeper understanding of the consumer, and obviously knowing your own USPs better. I think the third piece is leverage. I will say leverage video content really well. And I think platform like Amazon allow you to kind of use it beautifully. On SB ads, etc. So how does you make sure that again your content is optimized for this? And fourth is over a period of time start building industry expertise. Like you start even answering the questions for the consumer, which even kind of pertains in general to the category where you may not have a lot of strength, but you are playing in that category, and then that builds confidence for the consumer to kind of interact with the brand a lot more and over a period of time obviously convert on the sale. And lastly, I think be ahead of the trends. Like you mentioned, I think voice, video, vernacular kind of are catching up. So how do we work closely with the advertising team, marketing teams within the platform to kind of be part of their beta testings? And like I know our team kind of do a lot of experiments with Amazon team in terms of all the new initiatives that's come in. So and that's a win-win for both of us to kind of learn and be an early adopter of that. So I think be an early adopter of all the new trends that's coming in. So it's all about acquiring consumer at a lower cost, right? So that helps you do that if you are early on. Like I remember SB ads used to be much cheaper when it was launched. And obviously now a lot of brands have kind of, because a lot of earlier brands didn't have even video content to put on SB, right? So, and as a digital first brand, we all like we had the content ready. We kind of an early adopter and kind of had much lower cost. Now it has obviously gone up as everybody is trying to cash in. And the last piece is I believe again the consumers from the tier 2, tier 3 cities, smaller towns will have a different behavior than maybe a consumer from metro cities who are again early entrants into the online shopping. So make sure that you are customizing and solving your content or SEO pages or your keywords, targeting, etc., to also serve them, because again they will come at much lower cost, and that's a great way to acquire consumers.
Great. Thanks a lot, Deepak, for that. I think I gained a lot of new and interesting insights from this discussion. Some of the things I take back would include, how search is not just for the lower funnel applications, right? Search can be a very huge tool for even mid funnel or upper funnel impact based on how you use it, actually.
Right.
Second, I do take back in terms of the storytelling capabilities of various products. As a brand, one needs to stay ahead of the trends and experiment, and I think that will give a lot of impetus to smaller brands to sort of learn faster and grow. Third, I think I really could relate to the live, breathe, and eat data part. I think I relate to it very significantly. Obviously, at Amazon, data is central to anything and everything that we do. And I think that's something that our brand should also look at and make sure that they are literally sitting and breathing and eating data every day. And lastly, I do obviously take your point on, how smaller towns are coming online, and that's a significant shift in terms of vernacular, voice, or long tail, as we talked about, and how brands should be ready to make and adopt, or rather prepare themselves for those consumers well ahead of some of their competition. So some of these things I do sort of take back, and I find it really helpful, insightful. And thanks a lot for sharing those valuable insights with us.
Lovely interacting with you, and wish you all the best as well. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Deepak. And thanks to our audience as well. Hope you found this session as interesting and enriching as I did. Have a great day. Goodbye.